reaffirm or reject the high-speed rail project, and if they do vote to reject, that $8 billion in unspent rail funds would be repurposed towards school construction. The promises laid out in Proposition 1A were quite clear. The project would cost $33 billion. Funding would be 33% split between state, federal, and private. The train would travel at an average speed of 200 miles an hour, and fares would be about $50 a person. But the realities of 2015 tell a much different story than that initiative written back in 2008. First, Prop 1A promised an entire statewide system at a cost of $33 billion. Currently, projected costs are said to be between $68 and $80 billion. And that price tag, $68 billion price tag, only includes the Phase 1 route, which is from San Francisco to Los Angeles. And as you know, it's supposed to go from San Francisco to San Diego and then a line from Sacramento down into the Central Valley. Next, Prop 1A promised 33% funding by the three entities I've already outlined. As you know, the feds came in with the initial $3.5 billion. We've seen nothing more. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy has been quite clear that he doesn't anticipate seeing any more federal dollars coming, and we have yet to see any private investment on this project at all. Additionally, Prop 1A promised an electrified bullet train that mandated a 2-hour and 40-minute nonstop travel time from Los Angeles to Sacramento. However, with design changes, the project has moved from an electrified system to a blended one. According to a recent study by the Reason Foundation, the fastest travel times are estimated between 3 hours and 50 minutes to 4 hours and 10 minutes. Proposition 1A promised about $50 a person for the train fare. That estimate has now climbed to $81 for a ticket. I know a particular in-state airline that we can travel to with at a cheaper rate. Even more concerning is the authorities' ridership projections are unreliable and inflated, as stated by the LAO, the California State Auditor, the UC Berkeley Institute of Transportation Studies, Legislative Peer Review Group, and the Reason Foundation. And aside from not meeting the requirements laid out in Prop 1A, the High-Speed Rail Project Authority is in litigation over failing to meet those mandates of Prop 1A, environmental issues, land acquisition, as well as the potential misuse of cap and trade funds. So I believe that there's a better use for the $8 billion that's been set aside for high-speed rail, and that is funding school facilities. As I think we all know, the last statewide bond was passed in 2006, and according to the Office of Public School Construction, which administers the school facility program, future need for K-12 new construction and modernization is estimated at over $16 billion. Construction and modernization is estimated at over $16 billion. Currently, there's only $187.3 million remaining in the School Construction Bond Authority, and of that, $142.4 million is earmarked for seismic repair. So these bond funds are not only critical and beneficial to schools, they're beneficial to the economy and will generate thousands of construction-related jobs. AB6 would bridge the gap by repurposing the $8 billion for school facilities, which no one can deny are vital for our students' well-being, their education, future job prospects, and the health of our economy. Back in 2012, Governor Brown said he would not raise taxes without a vote of the people because he trusted them to make the right decision. And Governor Brown placed Prop 30 on the ballot, and they delivered. I believe it's once again time to place our trust in the people to let them decide if the high-speed rail project is something they want to spend their hard-earned tax dollars on. Given the present realities of the high-speed rail and the state's precarious financial situation, having the governor and the high-speed rail supporters make the case to the people, I believe, is responsible governing. I respectfully ask for an aye vote for AB6. And with me to testify in support, I'm assuming, is Mr. David Wolf with the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association.
Thank you, Assemblyman Wilk. Members, good afternoon. David Wolf with the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. We are in support of the bill. Members, the author did a very good job of summarizing a a lot of the reasons for why high-speed rail is not viable and not a solid infrastructure project going forward. I'm certainly not going to take your time to rehash that. I am going to reiterate, though, that the Public Policy Institute of California has said the majority of likely voters in the state of California does want to see this project placed back on the ballot for voters to decide whether they still want it. And for the reasons that Mr. Wilk mentioned, I do absolutely believe, as does the association, that this is a project that deserves to be placed back on there. Members, to the bill in chief, we need to be very careful with how we delegate and spend bond dollars in the state of California. We need to remember that state bond debt has first call on general fund revenue. We're required to pay off bond debt interest every year before we can fund any programs, including higher education, water, and K-12 and other programs. Right now, our debt service ratio in the state of California is 7%. So that's 7% of state revenue that comes right off the table to pay off bond debt interest before other programs can be funded. And we do need to be very careful, I think, just to ensure and ask the question, honestly, members, what is the infrastructure priorities of this state? Is it really a high-speed rail train that, frankly, may not be all that high speed with low ridership estimates? Or is it water in the middle of a drought? Is it a statewide school bond, which the governor has said he won't support? What is it? And I do think we need to ask that, and I do think we need to put this on the ballot for voters to decide whether it's money for education or for other programs. So for that reason, I'd ask for an aye vote.
Any other members of the public in support of this bill? Any members of the public in opposition to the bill, please bring yourself forward. Please state your name and who you represent, please.
Keith Dunn here for the Association for California High-Speed Trains. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. 2008, 53% of California voters voted in favor of the California high-speed rail. Here in California, United States, we do recognize elections. So the notion that the voters need an opportunity to speak, they did speak. They've spoken time and time again. The notion that we should redirect to the school bond on this specific bill, I think that almost everyone who's standing behind me agrees we do need to invest in our schools. Many of us are invested in making sure that those resources get set up and put aside for schools. We're going to continue to support schools. This is not the way to do it. The project itself is moving forward. It's got a number. We had a groundbreaking ceremony just at the beginning of this year in Fresno. Anyone who's been to downtown Fresno can see the major improvements that are taking place. We would ask for your no vote.
Mr. Chair, members, Cesar Diaz on behalf of the State Building and Construction Trades Council, the men and women who are actually going to be building the high-speed rail project. It has targeted hiring for disadvantaged communities. It's going to create tens of thousands of jobs in some of those most impoverished areas of our state with the highest unemployment. This bill actually would waste hundreds of millions of dollars of already made progress and studies to actually get this project up and moving. And as was mentioned before, construction is already underway. I think the author also has not stated that in the efforts of transportation alone, we need hundreds of billions of dollars to actually build that out. This is actually a bargain project to improve mobility in some of the most congested corridors of our state. I think this bill is disingenuous in terms of comparing the education facility need with transportation needs. We need both of them. And we should actually have a bond on the ballot dealing with school construction and actually transportation as well. We would support that. This bill should be cleaner in its intent and just come forward and say, get rid of high-speed rail and do not fund high-speed rail any longer. For those reasons, we strongly oppose this bill, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Matt Robinson on behalf of Caltrain. My apologies to the author's office for not getting a letter in a timely fashion. You'll have that shortly. Unfortunately, Caltrain has to oppose this bill today. We do thank you for keeping the $1.1 billion in there for blended system projects, but we are wedded to the high-speed rail projects and its success. There's more work to be done on the peninsula beyond what is kind of the baseline electrification project. That being said, I think one of the opponents of the project's strongest criticism is the funding that still needs to come to fruition in order to build the rest of the project. And I don't think it's an opportune time to be taking money away from the project, as that is going to further hinder its success. So with that, we ask for your no vote.
Mr. Chair, members, Joe Cruz on behalf of the California State Council of Laborers. We too oppose the bill. I think speaking just to the upholding the will of the voters is important. In 2008, they overwhelmingly supported this measure. They want alternatives to new freeway construction, runway construction, and this is an alternative. Creates plenty of good paying jobs in the Central Valley and throughout the state, and we oppose the bill as well.
Mr. Chair, members, Sarah Phlox from the California Labor Federation, also in opposition to this bill. The cost to the state of inaction of not building high-speed rail is much greater than the cost of the project itself. Studies estimate that the state would need to spend $150 billion to serve the transportation needs of our growing population and to build 4,300 new highway lanes and 115 additional airport gates. Our state's population is growing. We need to move that population. It is going to cost more if we don't build high-speed rail in both jobs and the actual direct investment. And so we oppose this bill. Thank you.
Bob Naylor, representing Los Angeles Metropolitan Transportation Authority. LA Metro supports high-speed rail, therefore we oppose this bill.
Hi, my name is Walt Plachta. I'm the current chair of the Fresno Economic Development Corporation, here to speak in opposition to the bill. We support a high-speed rail, obviously, on our focus on the jobs. It's easier in Fresno as we sit there to see that this is not a future project, that the positive effects to our current businesses there is positive, and that our future jobs are coming from this. And that I believe that the effect of this will not be just in Fresno, obviously in the valley, but as the system grows, this will carry across the state. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Vida Wright. I'm a resident of California. I'm a small business owner, and I'm also a fellow with the Society of American Military Engineers, known as SAME. SAME is a worldwide organization with a mission to provide education and support to the engineering components of the military and uniformed services and other federal, state, and local government agencies responsible for the nation's infrastructure, and to advance the partnership between government and the architecture, engineering, and construction industry in the interest of national security. I'm here today to provide testimony in support of the California high-speed rail project. Our state needs this project not to only modernize our transportation system, reduce greenhouse gases, and contribute to the reduction of or increasingly air pollution problems, but also to create the engineering and construction jobs that are badly needed to lift our economy. SAME supports this project because we think this project provides our returning veterans with ample employment opportunities. Without a major job-creating project such as California high-speed rail, our returning veterans will join the rank of already unemployed. These men and women are skilled engineers, technicians, communication specialists, and have many other skills that can be put to use to build this project and rebuild our aging infrastructure. Furthermore, our veterans deserve to return to a society that provides them with gainful employment opportunities so they can support their families. Supporting the high-speed rail project does not mean that we do not think education or water security is important, but the California high-speed rail stands on its own merit, and our state needs this project. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Maritza Costa. I'm an American citizen of Latino origin, and I'm a California resident for over 25 years. I've also been a small business owner for 2 years, and I wouldn't be here if it wouldn't be for the California High-Speed Rail Project and for the way the California High-Speed Rail Authority is implementing this project. Basically creating opportunities, advancing and encouraging participation of small business, disadvantaged business, and veteran-owned business, which, as we have heard many times before, are the backbone of the economy of our wonderful country. I also I'm here representing the Women's Transportation Seminar, which have a similar goal as high-speed rail, which is advancing women on business and women in the transportation industry. My message to you today is in support of the much-needed California high-speed rail project for the following reasons. The convenience of transportation across our beautiful state. If you have ever taken the existing rail transportation to go from Sacramento, San Francisco, or Martinez to Los Angeles, you would probably agree with me that it is impossible to do it for a short meeting. You have no other alternative than to fly. High-speed rail is providing an alternative. The creation of much-needed jobs, not only in California but throughout the United States, because with the project there will be a greater need for manufacturing, assembling, professional and technical service jobs that could very well extend throughout the entire country. And last but not least, as my colleague Vida mentioned, the reduction of greenhouse emission and consequently our pollution problems. Friends and colleagues, don't get me wrong, schools and water projects are very important, and land acquisition is very painful to all of us. So it is with great empathy and sincerity that I'm here to advocate not against funding schools or water projects or asking for anybody to take anybody's line for the sake of it. I am asking that we all take a look at the big picture, and that we would have, if we would have a healthier economy today, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And there is no better opportunity to give a great shot at our economy than through building high-speed rail. I support the project. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paul Cachadorian. I'm a private citizen from Fresno, California. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak. I was born in Fresno and farmed there up until the time I joined the military. I got out of the military after 4 years, permanently disabled, and I'm the current owner of Catch Environmental. We were awarded the hazardous remediation portion of CP1, which is the first phase of the high-speed rail. Having the high-speed rail in California is, well, everything new technology and new frontiers usually start in California, but I'm here to tell you, having it start in Fresno has been amazing. Usually Fresno is bypassed for Bay Area, coastal areas, and other more populous areas. And what it's done for Fresno, it has provided jobs, it has provided new technology, new frontiers, and put us on the map. What it has done for me personally with my company has allowed us to expand. So far to date, we have hired 25 new employees, all off CalWorks. That's well-filtered work. This program not only is for the train, but for the training it gives. It has allowed me to hire these men, provide them training that they'll have for the rest of their life, and get them off welfare and put them into where they can start supporting their families. And I'll give you a specific example. One of the gentlemen who I've hired from the Welfare to Works CalWorks program now is one of my supervisors. He drives company vehicle. He just told me he's buying his first home. He's got a wife and a couple kids. He's moving on, and things are really going good for him. And this is all because of the high-speed rail in Fresno, California. So first of all, I'm really appreciative of high-speed rail in general. I think California needs it, the United States as a whole. But for it to be in Fresno is really, really special to us in our community. I just want to tell everybody that for this to constantly come up, the rug being pulled out for this job or any other job doesn't give us confidence. Being a business owner, I've invested a lot of money in pretty much everything I've had or made in this project since June of last year. This project is going. It's been working. For those of you here in other areas, you don't see it. You think, oh, we could just stop it before it starts. It's already started. We're working. We're leveling and removing the parts of Fresno that, for the most part, we're not going to miss. We're putting in an area in new technology and new infrastructure that we'll be proud of forever. And I just want to tell you that.
Sir, can I get you to wrap it up, please?
Pardon me?
Can I get you to wrap it up, please?
Yes. I just want to tell you, we can do water, we can do high-speed rail, we can do them both. Thank you.
So I'd like you to, if there's anything that is duplicative of any of the other speakers, just say ditto, but if you have something to acknowledge that's been different, please share it.
Sure. Hi, thank you. My name is Nick Kennedy. I'm the president of the I Will Ride club at Fresno City College campus. Basically, I think it's high-speed rail is going to be really important for Fresno's economic growth, and it's going to help create the density that's much needed in the downtown area. I think it's going to be a precedent for the other communities as well. So I oppose the bill, and I hope that you will as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jacqueline Vargas. I'm representing Fresno State University I Will Ride Club, and I am here in opposition of the bill. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Isaías Urmayor. I'm here representing University of California Associated Students. Last week, we created a resolution that passed unanimously to support high-speed rail, and that is an idea that all UC students have at UC Merced, even though this train will never be ridden by students in our years, but in the future for California. But thank you, and I'm opposed of this bill. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Josh Anderson. I'm also a representative of UC Merced, and I oppose this bill.
Thank you. With that, any member of the committee have any questions of the author? Ms. Baker.
It's more just a comment. Mr. Wilk, thank you for this bill, and particularly recognizing that while the voters did have an opportunity to vote on a ballot measure several years ago, they were sold a different bill of goods than what we're actually seeing happen now. So I appreciate you identifying a way where we can really invest in our schools, which would also create jobs in the city of Dublin, which is the fastest growing non-prison town in the state. We have schools, new schools that need to be built. I also have schools that are 50 years old that need maintenance. And so I applaud you for finding the right way to be responsive to voters, and I'm proud to support your bill.
Any other questions or statements of the committee? Ms. Melendez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Wilk, thank you very much for bringing this bill forward. I would echo the comments of my colleague, Ms. Baker, and just say that I appreciate those who came forward in opposition to this bill and the reasons for which you are opposed. However, to suggest that voters are still 100% behind this project is incorrect. Democrats, Republicans, Independents alike, everyone I speak to says enough already with the money that we're spending on high-speed rail. Is there something else that we could spend it on that would be of greater benefit to California? I like the idea of high-speed rail, but frankly, ladies and gentlemen, the cost that was sold to voters when they did indeed vote on it is much different than what the cost is now, and what the cost will be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So, Mr. Wilk, I'm proud to support your bill.
Any other questions of the committee, of the author? Mr. Wilk, would you like to close, please?
Sure, and I'm going to address, I think, some of the points that were put forth by the opponents. First of all, the opening speaker talked about how the people have already voted for this, and that is in fact true. But they said $33 billion. They said high-speed rail, 1/3 state, 1/3 federal, 1/3 private. None of those things have happened. What's occurring today does not look anything like the package that was presented to the voters in 2008. So that is a specious argument. Next speaker talked about how we've already spent hundreds of millions of dollars and it'd be horrible to waste that money. I believe this project's never going to get built because it's not viable, and we're going to end up spending billions of dollars before we pull the plug. I think we should be bold and pull the plug now, repurpose that money that's already there, which saves taxpayers money, and repurpose it to schools. And then finally, we had a speaker who said it passed overwhelmingly. I hope he is not the person responsible for doing the ridership projections, because this only passed by 52.6% of the vote. I don't consider that overwhelming. So hopefully he wasn't from the High-Speed Rail Authority, because that's scary. I think the points that were brought forward by the Howard Drivers Taxpayer Association were right on the mark. in terms of we have to pay bond indebtedness first, and is this something we really want to go down? Anyway, I enjoyed hearing the feedback. First time anybody's come and presented any information to me. And again, this bill just would, again, allow the voters a second bite at the apple. The proponents can go out and advocate in its place, and now we know what the real facts are, and I think the voters should be able to make a decision based upon the real facts, not based upon a good bill of goods that they were sold. And if they so choose, the money would go to schools, which we all know are in dire need, and respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Mr. Wilk, unfortunately, I'm not going to support your bill today. And so with that, Madam Secretary, we call the roll, please. We do have a motion from Ms. Baker, second by Ms. Melendez. Please call the roll.
The motion is a due pass to the Education Committee. Frazier.
No.
Frazier, no. Ashajian. Baker. Aye. Baker, aye. Bloom. Campos. Campos, no. Chu. Chu, no. Daly. Daly, no. Dodd. Dodd, no. Eduardo Garcia. Eduardo Garcia, no. Gomez. Kim. Aye. Kim, aye. Linder.
Aye.
Linder, aye. Medina. No. Medina, no. Melendez.
Aye.
Melendez, aye. Nazarian. O'Donnell.
The vote is 4-7. We'll leave the roll open for absent members.
I'm going to be going out to the Armenian celebration.